Ted Nugent is on the WNTK Newsline. Ted, the reason why I reached out to you was just about everything you just said is the reason I reached out. When we talk about the culture, I made an argument. There was a gun rally here, the day of resistance, 223. There were numerous events throughout the country. We had one here in Concord. I made the argument that our culture's been corrupted into the view by the left that what they call gun culture, which I just throw that away. I say that gun culture is American culture. Hunting is an American culture. Not that the second's about hunting, but I say it's about the culture. One of the things that I have found that I spoke out avidly about was about the fact that we're starting to use, maybe not guys like you and me, but there's a lot of people on our side who are starting to use the words of the left against ourselves without realizing it. The other day I heard somebody call Adam Lanza, this was a gun owner, say that Adam Lanza was the Newtown shooter. And I said, whoa, I'm a shooter, guy who shoots clays. Don't you put that in people's heads that I, as a clay shooter now, am the same as Adam Lanza? What do you say about that? How do we stop that corruption of the culture and our own community?
Well, you bring up a very, very important point, and I appreciate the opportunity to say something about that, and that is best exemplified when we had these debates following the horrific murder spree in Newton, Connecticut. When the NRA and people of self-evident truth and logical people said the only way to stop an evil man with a gun is to have a good guy with a gun. I mean, who can argue with that? And of course, idiots attempted to argue with it, and they actually stated in response to the recommendation that our children are worth an armed security. They actually said, well, that's all we need is another gun in the classroom. Literally, Ben, equating a hero of law enforcement, a good, upstanding citizen with the firepower necessary to stop an evil person. They equated that gun with the same level as the murderer's gun. I mean, what happened to a person's brain to think that a good guy with a gun is the same another gun as an evil murderer's gun? You've got to be kidding me. Last time I checked, the reason that we stopped the Japs and the Nazis in World War II is because Americans with guns killed the bad guys.
Yeah, and
who doesn't know this stuff? So you're absolutely correct. There is a gun culture, but what kind of subhuman idiot would actually equate the members of the military and law enforcement and law-abiding American families who believe in self-defense and like to have competition and shooting competition and shooting training and weekends with the family plinking or clay birds or maybe getting some birds or some deer for the dinner table? You're going to put that gun culture in the same breath as a murderer?
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
You see how cheap these people are? You see how these people that equate good gun-owning families with murderers, they are evil because they're literally facilitating more murder and more mayhem by the recidivistic and dangerously mentally deranged idiots who slaughter innocent victims with the good families of America who believe in self-defense and the proper legal, safe handling of firearms. So thank you for standing up for that. Thank you for letting me come on Live Free or Die New Hampshire Radio and speaking about undeniable truth and irrefutable evidence that supports the Second Amendment and supports good families having the proper firepower, the adequate number of rounds, the adequate capacity of magazines, the adequate firepower and rate of fire and caliber to stop evil people, that the liberals have created a so-called justice system that has created an epidemic of recidivism where we know there's a murder on parole. Recently in New York, was it New York or Pennsylvania, where a guy who murdered his grandmother with a hammer was let out of his cage?
Pennsylvania.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, it's incredible what's going on. I just can't believe it. Ted, another reason why I think you're great is that you speak up. And what I find with so many conservatives and libertarian people, our very nature is not to be confrontational. We're a live and let live kind of people. I love what you do.
I got to jump in right there.
Sure.
You're damn right. Can I play the traditional conservative for you for a minute?
Sure.
Well, Ben, I truly appreciate the opportunity to discuss these important social considerations on your wonderful radio
It's like
show.
Crossfire.
I just want our liberal friends on the other side of the aisle to understand that we're willing to meet halfway. That we came into politics because politics is the art of compromise. So we really respect that they're well-intentioned, but we believe they might be... They're not well-intentioned. You don't have to be polite. You need to bludgeon these nutcases on the top of the head with a ball-peen hammer and a Louisville Slugger. If you saw how I handled Pierce Morgan,
Yep.
That's how you handle punks. That's how you handle America haters. That's how you handle gun haters. That's how you handle freedom haters. It's enough of this polite crap. This is hand-to-hand combat. This is close-quarter combat. These mindless zombies want to disarm America and create victims for the next murderer. Eat me.
Amen. On the WNTK Newsline is Ted Nugent, and we're talking about guns and our rights. Hey, Ted, on another note, I go to WorldNet Daily. I check your articles out. I saw that you named your next tour the Black Power Tour. You want to talk a little bit about that?
No, I don't want to talk a little bit about it. I want to talk a lot about it because I'm 64 years clean and sober, and I've never missed a deer season in my life, and I've never missed a year of rock and roll. Well, I didn't start rock and roll until I was about 7, so I missed the first 7 years, but I didn't miss the first 7 years of hunting. I was with my mom and dad every day, every year, every deer season, and I will never miss that sacred time of soul cleansing and healing with nature that the backstrap boogie provides. And it's that backstrap boogie in 64 years of clean and sober that can only create wonderful love songs like Stranglehold and Wang Dang, Sweet Dang and Love Grenade and Crave Man. My point being is that I really, really cherish the American dream. Mm-hmm. I've been doing this forever, and the reason I have this authenticity, this dynamic music, because of the incredible musicians I've been surrounded with. Mm-hmm. Ben, look back to my Royal Highboys in 1957, the Lourdes in 1959 through 62, the Amboy Dukes from 64 through 1974, the Ted Nugent Band, the Damn Yankees Band. Right now, this year, the reason we call this the Ted Nugent Black Power Tour 2013 is because we have spiritual, deep, abiding reverence for the masters, the gods of thunder, who inspired all great music, and they're all black American monsters of soul music, from Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters and Mose Alice and Lightnin' Hopkins and Robert Johnson, Bo Diddley and Chuck Berry and Beat the King, Freddie King and Albert King and Little Richard. Are you kidding me, Little Richard? And James Brown and Wilson Pickett and Sam and Dave and the mighty Motown Funk Brothers. So we've always paid homage, literally articulated our deep, deep reverence for our black musical heroes. So this year we thought we'd just pull out all the stops and finally admit that there's no good white-influenced music. None. You can't dance to any of it. So with Mick Brown on drums and Greg Smith on bass guitar, the mighty Funk Brothers of the Nugent Band, and Derek St. Holmes on guitar and vocals, this is the greatest band. This is every guitar player's dream, and every lick, every song, every dynamo on stage, every night, every concert is inspired by our black heroes. So we're going to pay homage and reverence to them every night like we always do, but now we're putting the name on it.
I do have Ted Nugent. He's on WNTK today. We're talking about gun rights. We're talking about corruption in the culture. We're talking about his concert series that's coming up, his tour. The last thing I wanted to ask you about, I watch your TV show. It's really good. I love it, and I love the Spirit of the Wild.
If you're not having fun with Ted Nugent's Spirit of the Wild, you're weird. You need your head examined. You know, we have the number one show on Outdoor Channel. Mm-hmm. In fact, we started out on public television back in 1990. In fact, it was 1989, a year before our son Rocco was born, and we set records for pledge revenues on public television because I was honest about it. We don't produce our Spirit of the Wild show on Outdoor Channel. We didn't produce Spirit of the Wild on public television. We just start filming. We film an honest documentary representation of how real, working hard, playing hard American hunting, fishing, trapping, outdoors family celebrate the perfection of conservation, the perfection of sustained yield wildlife management, the most successful wildlife management model in the history of planet Earth. And we kill stuff, and we gut stuff, and we skin stuff, and we cook stuff, and we eat stuff. That's the honesty, that's the reality, that's the purest, most organic diet and lifestyle you could possibly pursue. And that's why Spirit of the Wild is voted #1 every year, and we thank everybody for that.
Ted, one thing I do want to put out there as we get ready to wrap up, I'm a big goose hunter, and this year, because of
Love
you,
the big goosers, man.
well, listen, because of you and your bow hunting, and I keep watching it, I decided this year I'm putting up the quintessential waterfowler's gun. I'm putting up the A5. I'm going to use my recurve this year, and I'm going to shoot a goose.
I got a humpback. I got an old Browning A5. You know they're making those again.
Yeah, but they're not recoil operated.
No, you got to admit, those were great guns.
Yeah,
I've killed some waterfowl with my bow and arrow, but boy, be prepared to buy a lot of arrows.
Yeah, you should come up here to New Hampshire and come with me this October.
I'm considering that an invitation. You know, I love to hunt everywhere, and I thank you and everybody for the unbelievable kind and generous invitations we get every year. But by the time I'm done rocking and rolling all summer, I crave staying home. And our property in Texas, it's the best hunting in the world. And in our
tough to
property
beat
up
Texas.
in Michigan, it's just sacred ground. So if I get a break, Ben, I'll take you up on that invite, but I appreciate it.
Sounds good, Ted. I want to thank you for coming on Live and Local in the morning on WNTK. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Ben, and I look forward to everybody visiting us at tednugent.com. We have a wonderful talk back. We got people from all across the world that celebrate truth and logic and the American dream of individual rights. So tednugent.com, talk back, and I look forward to seeing you there, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ben. Godspeed.
Thank you.